Good evening, Tom. How you doing?
Hey, hey, Mike.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are live here today. So thank you all so much for joining us. If you caught us,
Yeah.
we this is a very fun night. We've been waiting a long time for this night.
hmm
As you saw in the intro there, I'll let you tee us up here while I do some shenanigans here in the background, Tom.
Yeah. Yeah, and we got played in by our new theme song
Yes,
that
we did.
we debuted it last week on our show. Yeah, I was playing around with some AI music and yes, the a program called I think Suno or something like that.
Yes, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, you could plug in what you kind of want and what you wanted it to sing about. I said, make a power metal song about the first, the last, the Nerdom, and I think it did all right.
I agree. I think it did an outstanding job. That was awesome. The I was going to say, oh yes, I think it's plug-in time here before we get going on the main event here. We've been live for almost 2 minutes here, so without further ado, we will be covering House of the Dragon, the season 2, episode 1 premiere that
hmm
just literally came out. Within the last couple hours. It hit.
Yep.
You watched it. I watched it, and that was our plan
hmm
for our main event.
Yep.
Something we've been anxiously waiting for. But before we get into that,
hmm
we want to kind of pump up the noise on our. Excuse me. Apologize. On our YouTube channel here, we are the First Last Nerdom. Me and Tom do this thing weekly, and we sometimes we have more than one show. That occasionally will happen. Sometimes we have a special guest. I think we're talking about doing that in the not too distant future, maybe.
hmm
But in the meantime, though, thank you to the 432 people who chose to subscribe to us. We're at 197. Tonight's going to be 198. So we're very excited to cover this. But first things first, I want to plug our last couple shows. The amazing Furiosa. You went to see it. I did too. We did that last week. Go
hmm
see it, and then also check out the lift that we covered a few weeks ago. But
Yeah. It's a
um,
B movie that a lot of people haven't seen. So yeah.
very interesting what the Nords do, or the
Yeah.
Danish or whatever, as it were, Dutch, whatever. Screwing it. Oh, also, you can catch us on Reddit. Tom runs our Reddit uh, department, as well as our. Why did that doesn't have your? That's not Tom. Uh, that's here we go. There's Tom. Minor correction there. I'm not quite sure why that shifted, but in any case, this he is also had
It,
on our X department
yeah,
here on Twitter.
just blame Elon Musk. Yeah, he did that.
Elon Musk is a good favorite, good time punching bag
hmm
in modern society. That's for sure.
hmm
Also, you can check me out on ApeIt.Ink, where I venture out and do a little bit more current events, that kind of thing. This is our Yats page for where you can find all of our different things. Still need to add Reddit to that one, but in any case, that's what it's like the link tree. That's what all the kids do online for where you can be found at. But in any case,
hmm
always number one priority. At some point, I got to get a background to fixing our website. That'll happen one day soon, maybe. But YouTube is where you can find us. You can find us in the community tab, where we occasionally do a post. This was a very interesting week. And before we get into the main show, I'll pull it up here. I wanted to. Oh, it's going to do something goofy. There we go. That's a little bit better. But I think I like this new view here. But yeah, so you've been waiting for this. I have too.
hmm
We're kind of in a very interesting, weird summer. I just want to take a moment to kind of talk about the kind of. I don't know if did you see any headlines for the box office for the movies? It's been a cold summer up until this point. I would say.
Yeah, no, not a whole lot of action at the box office as far as numbers,
No.
but yeah, some good movies. Furiosa was an excellent movie. We covered it last week. quality movie. So if you haven't seen it yet, go out to the theater,
Encourage. Yep.
show it some love. If not, wait till the it'll be showing up on Max here in probably a month or two.
Yeah, yeah. So we had this big sea change of streaming and getting people in. I did read that Inside Out 2, Pixar's latest, actually had $132 million weekend, which is crazy good. So it looks like that's back. But we also had some Planet of the Apes. I don't know. We'll probably catch that on the streaming. I think. I think.
Yep.
Haven't heard one thing one way or another. But I'm glad I saw Furiosa. I got to see that. And then we're leading in July. I think we both talked about once July hits, there's going to be quite a few. There's Maxine. There's also a few other movies that we're looking forward to covering as well.
I think all the kids are going to go see Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yes, at the end of the month, at the end of July, as it were. But but tonight we are one of the more anxiously anticipated ones. Are these shows that they take 2 years? They take about as long as it takes to make a movie, to be honest. But it's about what the rhythm is, but it's probably actually a little bit extra. But it's not unheard of for a movie, to go, if it's really long in planning. It can take a couple of years, but I think most don't take that long, but certainly a year. So we have this weird quasi period, like where we're not getting. Of course, the last time this show was on, it came out in 2022. We were in a far different world. It was the first summer, first couple summers after the pandemic and all that jazz. There's also Rings of Power that was out.
Yeah, that was the big powerhouses. Which was going to do better, House of the Dragons or Ring of Power? And we did a show on it with them going head to head before we'd seen them. But yeah, we're all both optimistic about both shows. Looks like House of the Dragon kind of came out the clear winner.
Hands down. Yeah, we had that, and then you had the Acolyte that just came out. You had this one that people were waiting for. The Boys. That's another one. We've kind of chit-chatted with that. We won't be directly covering it. Although we probably be a fun discussion if we have special guest on, Jay, and we all kind of are caught up somewhat. It'll be interesting to kind of put things together. But in the meantime, though, you have this show. I did kind of see a little bit of criticism, but to be honest with you, everything was kind of overshadowed by news for the Acolyte. To be honest with you, one way or another, that it's kind of like taken over the YouTube cycles for the last week. And I haven't hardly heard anybody talk about this. But now it's here, and no doubt it'll take over the next probably few weeks, I would hope.
Yeah.
But in any case, we saw this one just came out. Holy cow! What was your initial impressions before we go into details here? And we'll call out, kind of a spoiler. There are significant things that happen in this first episode, which is kind of I don't know how rare it is. I don't know. It's kind of hard. It's been too long since I've watched Game of Thrones when it's on live for me to remember back. But boy, I was pretty happy with what we got. How about you?
Yeah. I was like, na 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 na.
Oh yeah. Show the
I got to watch it with Daemon Targaryen, of course. My new collection to my Migos.
Matt Smith.
But it was. A friend of mine.
Looked like your internet broke up there when you put Targaryen down.
I put it down a little too forcefully, right? Yeah. Right. I was quite excited about getting to see this. I know a friend of mine was going through. She watched all of the Game of Thrones and House of Dragon again per season to get prepared for it.
Dedication.
Dedication. Yeah. But yeah, no, it was fun. Seeing the wall again at the very beginning, that was a nice surprise.
that was a cool. I'm glad they did that because it kind of you kind of has a whole weight on, like, in that scene he's talking about how so, he's going out to the kingdom, and he's like, hey, we need an army, we need folks, we need bodies. And he's like, I don't know about that, man. We're right now we're at the wall, and this is more important than that, because otherwise there won't be any kingdom. And then he kind of reminded him of like what the dragons did. They didn't dare fly beyond the wall, like way back when everybody was happening. But he said he compromised with him, and he said, well, I'll give you all my old gray beards. I think he called them, which would be fine by me if I was known as a gray beard. That's fine. That's respectful.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, and so then they get some bad news by Raven. I forgot their big messaging system back then was Ravens as opposed to
It was
the email.
yeah. No, he got some bad news, and as go ahead, take us through.
But so yeah, and then we got the that they go through the little theme music and showed the little credits there. Was that new to the season, or because I don't remember the little woven stuff
Embroidery.
in there. Embroidery,
I
yeah.
believe it is new. I was like, that's kind of cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah, there was some serious emotional punch from the start all the way out through to the very end. It was very
Yeah, if you haven't seen the first season, why are you watching this? But and go watch that. But yeah, so
season 1 spoilers are given. Just to give the heads up to the people that are out there. I think we got 22 watching us now, is what it says. So we'll keep an eye on the chat here with that. But anyway, go on, Tom.
But yeah. So the young Targaryen gets chomped on by a dragon in the end of the season. So half of the family's kind of dealing with that. And I always forget how you say her name. The main.
Yeah, I was. You know what? That's a good. I always have to. Yeah, you were struggling with the pronunciation. Let me help us both out here because I have to, like, if I haven't heard it in a minute, I completely forget how to pronounce, and I'm horrible. So it would be good to have.
Yeah, that's one of the things about this show is I kind of need some of those little pop-ups because I always forget. Rhaenyra, right? That's her name.
Yeah, Rhaenyra.
Rhaenyra. Yeah. So she's the main gal in the show. But yeah, she has some
Rhaenyra Targaryen. Yep.
Yeah. She has some stuff to deal with in this episode. She's suffering from the grief of the loss of a child, which they do give it its due course in this episode. That's one of the things I like about the first season and this even though it's building up for a big war, it's basically kind of comes down to a family drama.
Right.
It's fantasy. It's a big epic fantasy series, but it's basically a family drama, and that's what I loved about the first season. You could really sink your teeth into all the ins and outs of the family, and the family soap opera, so to speak. But yeah, and then when you write a show this well, you really get to flesh out all the emotional stuff in it. And of course, Damien, he's a man of action, and he's kind of lost as to what to do. He's having to wait for the women to grieve and get through everything so he can do something.
He is the quintessential hothead. He has two emotions. They are war and prepare for war. He is a man of action, and he is ready to go, and he's like he's whipping everything. So you have that on one side. You also have that on the other side as well. He wants to go after the greens right away, and as we get into it here, we'll kind of call out. And that I did watch a little bit of a prep. I didn't finish watching the season 1 recap like I meant to earlier in the day, but I did before like the last 15 minutes before I had to wait. I was on the computer waiting to log in to see the show. I did a little bit of a recap to kind of orient myself on here. Yeah, This is why I love the show.
Mm-hmm.
They do not make you wait long for some kind of action.
Yeah, and I think the benefit of it is it's a 8 episode season as opposed to a 10 or a 13 episode. That it really gets, yeah, I guess it's more cost effective. Pumps everything down into a good show that's 10 episode season. There's usually at least two
Right.
episodes that are kind of drag along, whereas this just kind of
Filler,
goes on. Yeah, it's
total filler. Yeah,
absolutely.
totally.
So yeah, it goes at a nice clip, and yeah, you get a big punch at the end of this episode.
Yeah, you get struck with you kind of like have a good part of the show is grieving,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of doped in and out of like what's going on. You're getting reintroduced to all these characters.
Mm-hmm.
You're coming off of the high of the end of last season,
Mm-hmm.
with the different parts and pieces that are all kind of coming together, and like which side are you on?
Mm-hmm.
You have these two. Like I felt like you see my notes here. I typed out a little bit ago, like while you were waiting on me. Yeah, they're not skimping on any of the important shots. They're going right to it. I really like that. They're keeping momentum going. You aren't quite at boil yet, but they did a very good job. I didn't think anything kind of stuck too long, but there were two gut punches toward the end of the show that
Yeah.
got me personally. Like,
Yeah.
did you have to do that? Did you really have to do that? And I won't spoil. Like, one was they kicked the dog. That's who cares. But I saw that, I'm like, what the? I was like, I didn't appreciate that. Okay, but aside from that, that was unexpected.
Yeah.
But that is totally on brand for
It kind of shows the character of
it
the
does.
people involved, and it was sure it was done with the CGI. I don't think any dog was actually hurt in the
no, not at all. No, they
filming
would
of
burn.
it.
No, the people would burn that. They would burn that set down if that actually happened. I have no doubt. In modern day, God bless them.
Right.
But anyway, I will say the second gut punch was even better, even deeper and longer, and it was just
Yeah. What
on a Father's Day. I'll just put it this way: on a Father's Day, if this were any other day, it probably wouldn't have hit hard. But if you're a dad, if you're a dad today, you have no doubt seen some kind of, and God damn this camera. Excuse me.
Yeah, to roll it back a little bit. There was a nice scene with King Aegon with his son, bringing him to the to the big meeting of the council, and
How did you read that? Did you read that as a power play, or did you just see that as like kind of like what his intention was? Like, well, he's going to be king one day, or your internet skipping in and out, but that's okay. We'll keep going on here. Live. Yeah. Okay. So now you're back. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, so I see Aegon as what we saw from last season. He's a reluctant king. He's not his heart isn't completely into this at this point, and he I don't think he's kind of halfway in. He brought his son because he knew he would be bored during the council meeting. He has no plans for things, and he's just his
distraction. You think?
Yeah, the kid was the apple of his eye. He wants to give his kid his focus. I think maybe because his father maybe didn't give him as much attention as his older brother. So yeah, he's giving that attention to his son, trying to give to kind of educate him. But yeah, I don't think he has like a master plan during the council meeting. He's just there, and his mother and his grandfather are trying to run the show.
Right. Yeah. No. He definitely. I don't know. He's such a weird king. He's such a weird. It's hard to draw a beat on him.
Right. Yeah. He's
no.
he's not like what's his name in in Game of Thrones, the little guy rolling with a iron fist there. But yeah, Aegon.
No.
Yeah, Aegon's yeah, he's kind of laid back. He's kind of kicking back in the throne of swords. He's when he meets with the petitioners,
Yeah,
he's trying to take it easy on
I,
them.
I,
He sees their side.
yeah, I
So,
kind of got like a surfer dude vibe, kind of, from him. Like how did I put it in my notes? It was like uh, uh he doesn't really come out across as threatening. He kind of he you can see that he has read all of the fairy tales and the fables and the da 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 of like what a good king does, a just king does,
mhm.
and he's trying to do that, but he keeps getting reality pushed on him of like, hey, look, like they're a sheep farmer or something. He's like, hey, he was complaining essentially about like one of his subjects when he was holding court. He was like, hey man, you took a lot of my sheeps. Can I get some compensation? And the king was like, yeah, we'll make you whole. And then his I can't think of the
High
guy's name.
tower, yeah.
Yeah, the
the
yeah, what was his name though?
the,
Otto
cons
Hightower, right? I'll wait for you. Come back online here.
advisor.
Yeah, Otto Hightower, right? Or no?
Yeah, the visor of three kings.
Yeah. Like almost like the King's Hand, right?
Yeah,
If I'm
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
he's
right.
the
Yeah,
hand, yeah.
old roll. Yeah. Anyway, he's like, hey, sir, you can't do that because of the dragons, and we need them because we might go to war. Oh yeah, by the way. And he's like, sorry, I can't do that. But but
Yeah.
when I will say this, like the dude pays his bills. I have no like the next guy after that guy was like a blacksmith. And he's like, hey
Yeah, and
dude,
the
can
hand
you?
hand was etching back in to try to maybe postpone the payment or whatever. But yeah, the king was like, no, I got
He's
this.
like, no, dude,
I
no.
got you,
Like,
I got you, bro. I got you, bro.
and he was and he was right to do it too. He's like, there's one thing you don't want to do is like
Mhm,
if you need a little gap, like maybe save
mhm.
that like for a rainy day if you really
Yeah,
need it. Like if you have the coin, pay up.
yeah. Sort of
So
like the mistake. He's avoiding the mistake of the other series, Game of Thrones, with how the throne ran things there.
the bad Lannister that didn't pay her bills,
Yeah.
so to speak. Although I'm probably going to get reprimanded by the audience, but yeah, no. I am not one to one on R. R. Martin's world. I have read a lot of books, but definitely enjoyed the Game of Thrones. But yeah, so anyway, we move on. And now, what is your familiarity with the books? I kind of segued into that back afterwards, but as far as like this goes, because he wrote a whole bunch of things on this, didn't he? At one point, didn't he? Or no? Am I making that
Well,
up?
the main series, Song of Fire and Ice. He's got like five books so far. I've read all of those, which cover the Game of Thrones. Now the House of the Dragon. He wrote. I think he's wrote one of a few books, but they're written sort of like history books. They're not written like novels. So I haven't read that. I've got it here somewhere, but I intended to read it, but I haven't got around to it. But yeah, it's more of a history. So there's like a few lines that covers what like maybe a two or three episodes go over. So the show is very much filling in the gaps of the history, or at least expounding upon because it does.
Uh-oh. Sorry, it was skipping you out. Hopefully you're back in.
Am I back?
Yeah. Now you're
Yeah.
back. Yeah. Now
Okay.
you're back.
Yeah. But yeah, the books it's sort of like more like a history, so it just kind of covers the history part. It reads like a history book. So There's like a line of this happened, and so the
Right.
episodes have to be like the what a paragraph or two would be like an episode or two from the series. So they got their work cut out for them on the show, that they have to fill out the characters and their motivations and what they're saying and what they're doing. So yeah, I can see why they have a different showrunner than what was what led Game of Thrones, because we saw what they did when they had to kind of make up stuff at the end of Game of Thrones. Whereas this show's out of the gate, it's doing quite well. They've got some people that really know how to tell the story.
Yeah. No. Sorry. Just typing. You encouraged me to you got me going here with some thoughts I'm developing. But anyway, yeah, no, I would be I want to wage a guess that I would think that I'm very curious to see what the numbers are for this, and I'm also curious to see what the numbers are for the other thing, The Boys, and some other things that kind of stack these things up uh, as they come out here. Um, I was very. I feel like the pacing was good. I think it's
Yeah.
a perfect pacing for a first episode back. Um,
Yeah.
you don't need. We're not quite at the wherever we're going with this whole series. We're not quite at the fever pitch, and I don't think we're gonna wait too long. I really hope that they only do 3 seasons of this, in my opinion, and that is backed by. Just seems like it's really hard to make something go and be good in season 4, 5, 6, etc. Usually it falls off a cliff after season 2, really. Season 3, it might be good. But I always like to use sliders as a reference point. If you're familiar with sliders, have you seen all sliders? And I probably asked you this a million times privately. Yeah, I don't think you did. Yeah. Yeah, but one day we'll cover it and tackle it because it's one of my favorite ones. But perfect layout of that. Like
I've had sliders.
Yeah, White Castle. Yeah.
White Castle
Shout out to our Midwest
sliders.
Yeah. I think you're coming back here. Hopefully it'll come back here. Oh, now you're back.
All right. But yeah, I like Ryan J. Condal is the showrunner for it, and there's a little interview with him at the end of the episode on HBO that you could watch. But yeah, he talks about, it sounds like he has a roadmap for it, because he said the first season, first half of the first season was sort of like the prologue, and so the second half was the first part of the story, and so he said this season's where they really get into the meat of it. So yeah, he's excited about what they get to cover in this. So yeah, so it makes us excited. He said he was very happy with the audience and the audience reaction to the first season, because if they were really into the prologue, then they should be really into what's to come in this season. So. But yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of drama, a lot of action, and the interesting theme of rats on this this episode.
That has come up. You said it was an extra interview with him on the HBO on the site. I was trying to find it here.
If you watch the episode, you'll notice it's the episode's an hour long, but when you pull up the episode, it's an hour and 12 minutes, I think, long. So it's
I don't
actually
see that. I only see 59 minutes. That's weird.
Yeah. If you play it, it's on there. You just have to wait through the credits, or skip through them. It plays at the end there. There's if you hit the credits and look at the time, you still have like 12 minutes left on it.
All right. Well, we'll let it.
Yeah. But yeah, it's
We're fine here. Oh, see that it just dumped me off to this. That's weird. I don't know. That's weird. Anyway, go on. I'll quit. I'll keep screwing with this to try to find something.
But no, yeah,
getting used.
there's the queen. She's sort of wacky. I one of the things I one of the
Yeah,
things
there's a
I
weird beat on her. Yeah.
yeah yeah. She was talking about rats. So I don't know if she had a premonition of what was to come. She was like, you have to look out for the
Well,
rats.
well, they telegraphed the hell out of that. That's for
Yeah.
damn sure.
Mhm.
That they yeah. I guess it hit. I was mid thought. It's Father's Day as we record or as we are live today,
Mhm.
it just kind of hits a little bit different. What I was going to say is every father on in the Western Hemisphere or and beyond has looked at little photos of their little babies at some point today. So this might hit a dad a little bit harder for the subject matter, as it were. And I might as well bring it up here. I can't find it, but you know what? Well, I'll throw it in a comment there on my other, like I did for the Mad Max. I found like a really cool. I fell into a rabbit hole last week with YouTube recommended a shit ton of, excuse me, an S ton of Mad Max lore going into, and I absolutely swam in those waters for sure. But yeah, so it's playing now on HBO Max, or
One of
what
the things
was
that yeah,
HBO? Oh, go
yeah
ahead. Go ahead.
HBO yeah one of the things I loved about it is the production value, man. All the
God,
like, yeah, I'm sure a lot of it was green screen and matte paintings and CGI and whatnot, but yeah,
mm,
everything was just gorgeous looking. The actors and the everything else, the dragons looked awesome. Yeah, there's I was kind of towards the end we were talking about the rat catchers that them going through the underground and working their way up into the castle, all of that stuff. There's like the little thing where he has to climb up a ladder with the dog to get up into from the sewers. That whole little set piece, they had to make that because that's not, probably in, there's a lot of on regular shows, it's that take place modern day. You can maybe use on
Jesus
location sets, but with this, it's all, pretty much you have to kind of craft everything. So yeah, that little scene where they're walking up the ladder, I was like, oh, they probably had to actually make that. It's probably a set they had to make. But it looked all cool, weathered and everything. And yeah, it's the little things that make you immersed into the world. And I really appreciate that, but I'm sure it costs lots of money.
Yeah, to kind of back up what you're saying about the production value, I noticed that I was very impressed by the cinematography is on point.
Hmm.
They gave us that everything we asked for. It was a surprise every week that you got to see it again. I'm so glad that they did not do 2 episodes. To be honest,
Hmm.
I think the official critic people got to see more, but we
Right.
don't give a shit what they say.
Yeah.
Especially like when it's something I'm familiar with and I like. Um, I mean, what more do you want? But in any case,
Hmm.
I was really impressed by the 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 production values. Absolutely, yeah. I don't even know how much they spent on this, but I've heard some. I'll wait for you to come back here. Uh, yeah,
Yeah,
you're
I'm
still
here.
here. Yeah, oh, yeah. I've heard some kvetching on other series that are playing this summer already. Like where'd the money go? Like nobody's asking that question with this. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe people thought it might have been a little slow. I thought it was perfectly fine. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I wish I could see another episode immediately, but I'm okay with. We only got 8. There's only 7 more. I
Hmm.
trust them. This is the beautiful thing. Like when they execute
Yeah.
correctly,
Right.
what you look forward to.
No, it's a drama. I mean, it's it's not, it's not Game of Thrones. It's its own thing. It's a smaller set
Thank
piece.
God. Yeah.
Game of Thrones was a huge set piece, an epic that
Oh, it's on.
went over various storylines across the kingdom. So yeah, they were jumping around and they got right to the action and did their thing. But with this, it's much more, like I said, it's a family drama. So you have to kind of let the emotions play out. You have to let the scenes play out. Everything was kind of well orchestrated in this. You have the build up. You have the build up of Aegon and his relationship to his child, so that what happens at the end has that bigger of a punch, and then that's going to echo through and shape Aegon through the future episodes, and it makes you excited. It's a tragedy at the end, which kind of, it's sort of like a mounting tragedy, because you had the tragedy at the end of the last season, and you have the tragedy at the end of this episode that's going to really stir up both sides into a fevered pitch to do things that are unavoidable and maybe a little rash, and whereas things were at least one side was in a reconciliatory feeling. They were maybe going to reach out and maybe try to smooth things over and maybe try to do it in a less violent way. Whereas now, I think things aren't going to go that way.
I think well, and this is kind of funny. It's just really kind of funny how I hate to do this, but I bring it up because it's a subject matter. But it just seems like it seems like the theme of this year, or the unofficial theme, maybe, I don't know. The one that I'm picking up on is Civil War. So I'm perfectly happy to see that happen on screen here, because it makes perfect sense. This was essentially where we're headed, unless hotter cooler heads prevail, I should say. Well, that's where we're headed. And we already saw Daemon Targaryen set events into motion, which no doubt they happen. That's kind of tied in, and I'll leave it at that. But as you kind of walk through this episode, you kind of see that happen, and we've alluded to it with the rat catchers or whatever. But
right,
it is kind of funny how, and then after she said that, like they show that prominently. It's like, man, I'm glad I don't live in a castle anyway. among other blessings, not to have to worry about.
Exactly. Yeah. And I kind of wanted to kind of go through the first season, but I also wanted I'm the physical media guy, so I was looking at getting the first season on 4K disc, and I'm glad I kind of waited. I kind of dragged my feet about getting it because ever since I've canceled, I don't know if you've had this, but ever since I've canceled Amazon Prime, I've been inundated with emails from Amazon. They're like the scorned lover kind of reaching back out. Come back to me.
I might have, but I'd probably ignore them.
Yeah, you might have done the smart thing and unsubscribed or unsubscribed. But yeah, they sent me an email saying, hey, we've got the Blu-ray of the first season of the House of the Dragon for $16. I like $16. Okay, what about the 4K? And they've got it for $23. So I was like, okay, sold. I'll get it for the price of a regular
movie, right?
Regular movie. Get the full season. So and that's still on sale. I double checked it. So tonight you can get that same. It's a limited time offer. So act now.
No, but yeah, probably do that after we get offline here.
Yeah, I'll get the first season sometime this week. So I'll start a rewatch of that as well in nice crisp 4K. But yeah, that's one thing about having physical media with the streaming. I always thought, well, I'll always have HBO, but no, not the case. This past year I had to cut back on my streaming services, and then I was cut off from certain shows and whatnot. So yeah, if you get it on physical media, and the sad thing is, a lot of the streaming stuff, is not on physical media. Uh, there's only a certain things that are. I don't think Amazon has a um,
Has well, hopefully Tom will be
as
back here. Yeah, you
yeah.
said has a what now on Amazon?
Oh, the Amazon doesn't really have physical media. Like I would love to get like I don't have Amazon anymore as a streaming service. So yeah, if Fallout had came out on physical media, I wouldn't mind picking that up. But I think I'll Amazon keeps offering every time I order something a free month of Prime. So I think once The Boys is all the way out, I think they're doing it episode by episode. Once it's all the way out, I'll get a month of free of Amazon and watch it.
Catch up. Yeah, no, I downloaded the first few episodes by other means. I'll just put that way. Yeah, I it's just funny. I did dip back into Kindle Unlimited for a month. Catch up on some books that I was had some mild interest in, and it's cheap enough. But yeah, no, I will be I will be ordering that physical media right away.
But
And
yeah. The House of the Dragon is
just
I this
quality all the way around.
yeah yeah. And this year I've kind of focused on fantasy. I've been reading the Malazan Book of the Fallen books and the all the other books surrounding that. So I've been deep into fantasy. You may have noticed. Those that watch our show, that I've brought up quite a few different fantasy movies this year for us to discuss, and yeah, so I was pretty much amped up for House of the Dragon. Also, for my video game playing, I've been trying to finish Witcher 3 for the first time.
Oh, right, right on.
I've always played it, and I've never played it to the end.
I
So
I never finished it, so you're way ahead of me.
yeah,
I get
always.
torn away.
Yeah, it's well, and it's such a huge game that you could just find yourself just running across the countryside and doing little things here and there, without actually playing the main story. But yeah, I think I'm on the third act of it, so I think I'm towards the end of the game. But yeah, so I'm all about fantasy this year. Even though I'm supposed to be the horror guy, but yeah,
No,
you always have to broaden your horizons.
absolutely. Well, as any good nerd, polymath nerd would be, you want to be well versed in many different things.
Hmm.
And I have no doubt this one. I can speak on this a little bit. This was a very satisfying first episode. I'll put it
Hmm.
that way. I by no means was it the best ever, but for how it turned out, and how they're going to kind of reintroduce us to the storyline and get us going and keep the momentum rolling and getting us pulled back in, especially after 2 years. They're doing just fine. They're doing just fine. So, um, really looking forward to covering this maybe sometime soon. I would be really curious what you guys think out there. How did you watch it? What did you think? Did you enjoy it? Did you not like something about it, or was it too slow? Was it too fast? Like, what do you think? Where do you think we're headed for this one? I think we're headed for. I think it's going to be brutal,
Oh
but
yeah.
it'll keep me pegged on the screen now for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. Yeah, it's got me hooked. Yeah, there's not anything like I said. I caught up on the Star Wars Bad Batch. There's not a as far as TV. It's kind of odd because usually I've got a lot of TV stuff that I'm excited about as opposed to movies, and it's kind of like
That's
backwards this
funny.
year.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll eventually
until July
watch.
anyway.
Mhm. I like obviously I like the boys, and I'm looking forward to well yeah, I will see it eventually, but I'm not as amped up or hyped as I used to be for the for the show.
Well, for which one?
The boys.
Oh yeah, no. You share the same thing. Well, we kind of all commiserated like on that
Mm-hmm.
earlier in our private chat.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and if you're interested in being our private chat, let us know if you would like to be pay for a membership, and then maybe we can have a very live thrashing, live go round. But in any case, yeah, kind of. I did want to kind of touch base though on the instead of the opening credits, the the clockwork kind of I learned this is kind of silly, but I'll say it anyway. I learned, and I didn't know this, so make fun of me if you will. But when you have things that are, when you have something that's like XYZ punk or whatever, like steampunk or cyberpunk
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, that is
Mm-hmm.
the thing that powers that world. I had no idea. I just thought it was like a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Cyberpunk, it means that cybernet, blah 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 blah. Blah.
Mm-hmm.
Solar punk is kind of like a cool futuristic kind of green, equal balance kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
Um,
anyway, that
and then
clock.
the world of horror, there's splatterpunk, which I
Yes,
was big into.
yes, yeah. But the clockwork, like it's like clock punk, if I were to say the thing. But the way that they do that, I can't help but wonder um, if they're moving that over to kind of represent like if you were to ascribe um, um, adjectives to one or the other, I would say with the embroidery, it was much more feminine. It was a much more feminine, queen kind of touch. And you also had,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to butcher her name, but she also was shown throughout the episode doing embroidery or stitching or whatever. I'm
Yeah.
butchering. I'm sure I'm saying the wrong thing. So forgive me,
Right.
sewing and crafting geeks out there. And sorry, I gotta turn off my camera's dumb Helena's. Make sure I'm pronouncing her name right here with my pronunciation guide. I hide nothing from the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and of course she's not there. But anyway, she was embroidering the thing. But I just want to kind of touch on that of like how it kind of gives a different perspective on that. I'm wondering how they're gonna. I wonder. That's a small thing that won't pay off for a very long time, if at all. It's a little small kind of Easter egg that you touched on, and I wanted to kind of bring to the forefront,
Mm-hmm.
highlight that. I think that's somewhat significant.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yep.
we'll see how it.
Yeah, and there's yeah, all this talk about within the geek world about all these this feeling of all these female characters being foisted upon us, whereas this is very organic. There was very much, very strong female presence in Game of Thrones, and also in House of the Dragons. And I always say, if you write a good story, a great story, even a great story, you could do great stories with very strong women in fantasy and
You
superheroes, all that sci-fi.
the
You just have to write a great story, and everything falls in line. Now, if you go to write, say, a fantasy and say, well, I just want to tell a powerful story about a powerful woman and with no story behind it, then you might get some of the crap that we got, early on. but
well, and it is very funny how you bring that up because we have three distinct examples of that. Probably soon to be four, but I can think of the acolyte is what you're like that has been yeah, the fandom, the nerddom has been attacked, or certain portions of this, I've tried to excuse me, I have tried to kind of wrap my brain around it and kind of boil down like that whole thing. And it seems to me that certain people think that other people who are in charge made a mistake, and then instead of correcting that mistake, they continued on in that mistake, and then continue to make more mistakes from that. And of course, when you have a mess and you try to cover it up or you try to not acknowledge the mess, you just end up making a bigger mess, right? So I agree with you completely, and we're kind of we kind of skim the edge of the
Yeah.
culture of things, but you can't deny that there is a lot of unhappy people, and we've been unhappy for a
Well,
while now with certain things.
well,
And
yeah, well, my year has been. I'll tell you, my outlook. I've kind of dabbled with the culture stuff and all that, and kind of got heated with different things.
sure,
But
and
but
and we,
but
and everybody deserves their own perspective. So go ahead. Yeah,
but yeah. So but this is I've kind of come back around to how I felt in previous years. It's sort of like you have to find what's good for you. You have to find your
very true.
happiness. You got to find your happiness. You can sit there and just wallow around. You know, if the thing that you love, you no longer get the love from, and this is true for relationships, for work, for everything that you do. If you're wallowing around and hating yourself and hating the things that you used to love, that stuff isn't working anymore. If you're not getting that love anymore, you have to find it somewhere else. And there's lots of other things.
Oh
There's
yeah,
there's more. Back when we were young in the '80s, that we were limited as far as the entertainment that we had access to. Now it's unlimited. I mean, there's things everywhere. You can't tell me that just because maybe your favorite thing, Star Wars, the Star Wars isn't giving you the love that you used to have. Find it somewhere else. I mean, come on.
well
or
and that's what's happening. And I've also I've tried to kind of do a wide range of things, but we're gonna see, and it'd be kind of funny to maybe have an after party show here. Maybe they can let our hair down and kind of
yeah.
wade into the waters, like where we're not necessarily taking a position or anything like that. We're just kind of talking about the general malaise that's out there and has been for a while. Um, you're going to have three perfect examples of where you have modern content. We'll just call it modern content without any strings or threads. Poke, poke, poke. Poke, poke, poke. We'll just say we have three threads of things that you can pull on. And House of the Dragon is one, literally putting on a clinic of how to tell a story, how to get engaged people from IP that's already existed beforehand, that had its ups and downs. Not to mention it clashing with the original fandom of the books of George R.R. Martin. Then you have the TV fans, and then you have the new thing. But you have this in this show that we've covered are covering tonight. Then you have The Boys, and you also have The Acolyte. So you have kind of three different kind of how do you approach things, how do you do things, and there's going to be success with that, and there's going to be blaming. And if you have to get to the blaming stage, whether it's the fans or whether it's the creators of the thing, once you hit that point, you're not talking about anything else. It's kind of like a barrier, and then once you go over that, then it's like a permanent stop. It's like if the gearing only goes forward, it doesn't allow it to go backwards. And you see that on display tonight. Like you had, I was very happy. I love that I see this in my, and I'm gonna look forward to something. It is so rare to find something that is really good, truly good. That's not just okay, right? Okay, we all have our own little kind of things that we just put on in the background and watch. But there's also something to like look forward to. And this is one thing that is there. And actually, I would like to go and see see if certain things are as bad as they say they are, and I have no doubt they are. But all the same, you can do what you can do anything you want to do if you have a good story.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the meme of I think it's from the show Community, where Danny Glover's got his pizza and he walks into a room that's on fire and he's like, okay. That's sort of my thoughts of walking into a show and realizing it's not for me. It's a hella mess, and I just need to back out and get out of there. It's I don't believe in I've been disappointed with different things that I love, and if you get disappointed, I mean, I don't. I there I think I've never.
Looks like you spun out there for a minute. We'll wait for you. Yeah,
Yeah.
it totally cut out like the last 20 seconds. But go ahead.
Okay, but yeah. The only thing I've really been like a true blue, deep seated fan is Twin Peaks. Everything else I've kind of, I've loved. Yeah, I've loved certain things, but yeah, um, because with Twin Peaks, I know that David Lynch is the head of that, and it's going to stay with him, and he's not going to let anyone else touch it. So yeah,
Right.
So yeah, I know that there's that, but everything else like Star Wars and everything else. You've got many different hands in the pot, and they might not have the same vision as you, and I've learned that to kind of pick and choose. You can't just love everything Star Wars. If you do, you're gonna probably be disappointed, or unless you have like a broad taste and you just like everything and you're not too choosy, you might just stay with Star Wars. And I think this whole thing of brand loyalty, or this is my team, and that
Gatekeeping.
I think yeah, gatekeeping. I think it's good that I think I'm seeing more of a kind of a breakup of that people aren't quite like that they're kind of looking for the good stuff right now, and they're kind of picking and choosing what they want to see and experience. They've learned that you can get you can't just watch all Marvel and be satisfied.
I think I do think that we do have a little bit of a generational thing happening too. It would be. I always go back to what you said years ago, or you quoted Stephen King,
Hmm.
and somebody's complaining about some movie that was made from one of his books or something like that, and it was not
They
greatly
ruined
done.
your book, yeah.
They ruined your book, and he was like, no, they didn't. It's still right back there on the. It's still the same
So,
as it always is, and that's true with
mhm,
Star Wars. It's true
mhm,
with
mhm,
whatever.
mhm.
There are some things that you rotate back to for the
Yeah.
wholeness and that and there are new. I'm sure there are a new group of folks that are watching the whatever the new thing is, you know, but it just kind of sucks that we can't we, we can't find balance. But I can promise you one thing: if there is one thing that is true about Hollywood, and all these companies and whatnot, at some point, um, you know, at some point they want to make money, right? So, um, and I think that the average person doesn't understand as well as I do, like that these things take years.
Mhm,
Like it's not easy to kind of turn a ship the way that you want it to, and expect it to happen. Eventually it does, but you always have other alternatives too.
yeah.
And there's always the expanded universe, that's still out there. Might not
Mhm.
be official canon or whatever, but was
Right.
that it is what it is. But like I was trying to think of like a way to kind of boil everything down, and the best way to describe it is like one group of core fans says, they think the creators made a mistake, essentially, or the owners of the property made a mistake,
Mhm.
and they just kept going and making mistake after mistake. And meanwhile, the creators think that the fans have made a mistake and not seeing something as it should, whatever it is.
Mhm.
It is perspective, but at the end of the day, you can find something to love and whatnot. And I do like to I do like to kind of bring it back to center here, and I'll just say my piece and we can move on. Star Wars Theory is like a YouTube channel I follow for years, like before he had millions of people. And I liked his perspective. I liked that he tried to be more positive and tried to find the positive in what he was seeing. And when you have people like that can't find that anymore, or they're tired, or because we're all human, if you can't find that and connect with that forgiving group, and he's younger too, I think he's under 30. But if you can't have that and find that, I don't know. But the important thing is tonight we had the premiere of House of the Dragon, and they did a great job. Very happy with what I see. I don't know that I could find criticism that anything sucked, to be honest with you, because it was just like aside from like just being disoriented from like, who the hell are these people? you kind of do have to go back in and do a little bit of homework, not too much, but unless you have really good memory, but like these cycles of like 2 years before we get a series, that's just how it is. I mean, I think it took damn near 3 years for Rick and Morty when it blew up. Who knows? But that's a whole other ball of wax too.
Oh yeah.
But anyway,
absolutely. Yeah. HBO Max is killing it. You got House of the Dragon, and you have my other favorite TV show.
It cut
great.
What was it? It cut out the. It cut out when
my
you
other
saying the title.
show. House of Dragons and Smiling Friends. Best shows right now on TV on Max. But yeah, Smiling Friends. It's got a lot of nice ties to the internet and everything that I love. It's a really quirky little cartoon show that's very reminiscent of early Adult Swim. The episodes are about 11, 12 minutes long, so
That's perfect.
Nice little bite-sized stuff. So, but yeah, it's on Adult Swim, which is also on Max. So, yeah, take a look at both of those.
Awesome.
A little bit different for each, but yeah, House of Dragons got two strong women. Very woke show. I love it.
Yeah, no, not really. If you call this show woke, then you might have a.
I always said, yeah, I'm joking. Because
right.
my quote that I've had for decades now is, the only thing I need labels on are my soup cans, because I need to know what soup I'm watching. Everything else doesn't need a label.
Right.
Take your labels, put them aside. You don't need them. But yeah, I'll play around with them though.
You do. I think we might have to do a longer episode on that, on how you watch a movie nowadays, or maybe a primer, like for people who don't want. If you're looking forward to something, do not look at anything until you go see the thing that you want to go see, because you might be disappointed. And there's nothing worse than like somebody dropping a spoiler, and then kind of running away, and then you're screwed because you can't unhear it.
Well, and sometimes you want the spoiler.
Sometimes you do. That's true.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
true.
So it's good to be able to find it, but also when it's foisted upon you. Just a little aside to aside. I didn't realize there was a season of Survivor that just came out that just ended just recently. So I was gonna watch it. I was like, oh wow, I got a whole season of Survivor that I didn't know about that I could watch. I could binge watch if I want. And I started watching it, and then I was looking something up on my phone on Google, and Google popped up a little article about the second place winner. I was like, okay, you've just ruined the series for me. I'm not going to watch it now. Thanks, Google.
Yeah, this is why I don't use Google or Bing or any of that. I just use Kaggy and I use my AI, and I'm very. I've got 4 walls up to protect me from the bullshit.
Right.
But no. So we're a little over time here. I think this one, if I kind of had to pull back and give it a good strong rating, it was punchy, it was direct. It does take its time. It does tiptoe to get there. But the tiptoe, you have to do that the way that what they're doing, that you have to do that. So it was on the head. I think there was nothing out of sorts with this. This was like return to form. And I wish we could have shows like this all
I
the
didn't see
time.
any Starbucks cups. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was kind of disappointed. I didn't see any Starbucks cups.
Yeah, or some guy peeing in the corner, or looking like they pee in the corner, or whatever, the extra, whatever.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. No, I think we've had fun with this one. Any other thing? Do we miss anything? I'm just looking over my notes here. Like there's political maneuvering.
Just little Damon.
Yeah, there's Daemon Targaryen's retaliation. There's new forces that are introduced. They bring in the Night Watch. They're going to have something to do with this.
Yeah. The Night Watch, the head of Night Watch, man, he's something, isn't he?
Yeah, no, he means business.
Yep. Yeah. He's one of those that very moral. But him and the what's her name, Miss Hightower. They're very moral, but it only extends to other people. It's rules for thee, not for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I will say, as we play ourselves out here, that the title of the episode is, in fact, it is. Why would you go all the way out to? I guess I don't know why I did that, but anyway, a son for a son, and I'll leave it there.
Mm-hmm. On this Father's Day of 2024.
It is. They did that they were very smart to do that. People are going to remember this for a long time. And the fact that it's Father's Day. But Sunday, and we're back. I'm so happy to be back with something to look forward to, at least for the next. Well, actually, probably 8 weeks, because we'll probably skip one at some point with the holidays or something.
And you, the loyal viewer, already look forward to us either on Sunday or Monday of every week. So just something else to add to the excitement. Which we'll come back at you next week with another slam bang episode for you to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we in the show tonight, we want to redirect your attention to our YouTube channel, TheFirstTheLastTheNerdom. You can find us, opine what you thought of this show after the fact. We are also on, like I said, Tom heads up our Reddit division, as well as our Twitter division there. You can find us there. And you can also find me on ApeIt.Ink, where I go a little bit beyond the normal thing and opine on things that are spicy, but also kind of more current events.
Ooh, caliente.
Yeah, caliente indeed. Yeah, well, you might need a cerveza, whatever. But in any case, I also kind of want to start in a new initiative there too. But anyway, this is also where you can find me on all the different silly, stupid to serious things that I do online, and more importantly, you can always find me and Tom at YouTube. Tell us what you thought of this show. Tell us what you thought of this. Was it fast paced? Was it good, bad, what, indifferent? Are you happy it's back? I really want to see those numbers, and I might do a pop-in on Wednesday and cover the numbers for a few different of those things that we were talking about, because I am very, very curious to see how the boys did, how Acolyte did, and how Rings of Power was the fourth one. We didn't really talk about it too much, but and more importantly, Hot D, HOD, I guess. I don't know what the acronym is, if it's Hot D, although I think that's kind of funny. Innuendo. But all that aside, we had fun this week. We really do look forward to seeing you next week. And stay tuned. We might have we might jump into the nether realms of an after party. We'll see. Because there's some YouTube drama that we like to cover, or that we've been known to cover, with a very spicy guy. He came back, and we're anticipating some camera video from, or body cam footage from a certain individual, a white male by the name of Ricada. Nick, Nicholas. What's his middle name? I can't remember.
I don't know.
I was wondering if you remembered it. Anyway,
yeah, I think he's cleared out the ceiling cats. The ceiling cats are no longer in the the shadow person in the corner.
maybe you learned about water, San Pellegrino, or well, this is carbonated fancy pants water. But anyway, I've been Mike,
and I'm Tom.
All right, and we're gonna play you out with our new theme song and our thumbnail. But we really do want to thank you for showing up and seeing us. We had, according to my counter, 25 folks. I'm not sure if that's on YouTube or Twitter or whatever, but thank you for sticking with us, and we will see you next week.
See ya.